check this out. Why do you need this? What is it? Well, I tell you what, stick with me because we'll jump into this together and I'll explain. Let's go. Welcome to this episode of DIY3DTech.com. In this episode, I want to share with you my newly designed air assist for the Ortur laser. Now, this should fit on most diode lasers. Now, I've produced a couple versions of this, each sort of an evolution of the other. The last version was designed for a fixed G8 lens. I wanted something a little bit more adaptable that was flexible, so I designed up this guy. So the biggest difference is you can adjust now where this points. It's not fixed, so you can loosen up this thumb screw, and again, you can point it. So if you have a shorter focal length lens, you can move it closer, you can move it back if it's further, and then basically cinching this thumb screw down tightens it up. Now, the other interesting thing is this passes through into this back opening where the hose passes into and tightens up a little bit against the hose, holding the hose snug so the hose doesn't pull out. Now, this is 12.5 millimeters long. This is a nylon thumb screw. I really love these guys. I use these guys a lot in my design. I'll have a link to them below, as well as the link to this design out on the design store. Now, I do use one M3 way in the back here to kind of cinch this on. This is a pretty tight fit to the laser diode, but since I'm pulling this around with this, I wanted a mechanical connection, and this provides it. So this has really been working out great because I can really get this aimed in at the curve, and I can also adjust the height of the tube back and forth as well as the angle intersecting into the curve. So if you have an Ortur laser, I highly recommend this. Now, I've done a couple videos in the past on why you need air assist. In a previous episode, I did one on balsa wood, which is just amazing, the difference air assist made in cutting through the wood. And this will do even better. Now, I use about 6 psi. I personally use an airbrush compressor with a regulator on it. You don't need a lot of pressure, just a little bit. Now, this is an MK8 nozzle of 0.8 millimeters in diameter. Very effective for, again, clearing out fumes, clearing the curve, and also preventing fire. So with that being said, again, the link to this guy, which you can pick up for free out on the design store, will be down below. I highly suggest printing this guy out. I'll also have a link to some 1/4-20 thumb screws out there. Again, this was about a 2.5-inch one. I cut down to 12.5 millimeters in shank size, and that's, presses nicely against this tube. This is a 6 millimeter tube. So this, again, is an MK8 0.8 millimeter nozzle from a 3D printer. All works out great. It just kind of threads in here. So with this, hope you found all this interesting. If you did, hey, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget Swag Shop's up in the corner. Subscribe over there. And we'll be coming out with more cool stuff for the Ortur laser in the future. Cheers.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date on all of our projects.